Well, where is the theme song? Where is Sam Elliott? Where is the throat rip? I'm Jackie.
Pain don't hurt, and Dalton don't shirt. I'm Justin.
We could get this many miles out of Brett Spiner's ass, we'd be in a better America. I'm Sam, and this is 2024's Roadhouse on Amazon Prime on Stinker Madness.
It's a double stream. You got to go to Amazon Prime to stream the Stinker Madness episode. Wait, no, that didn't work because
the movie was on Amazon Prime, but you're on Stinker Madness.
Yeah, right. It's very confusing. This week on the show, currently streaming on Amazon Prime, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Conor McGregor. That's pretty much it. Directed by Doug Liman, Roadhouse 2024.
Post Malone is in this.
Post Malone is in this for 2 seconds.
And Jacqueline de Alameda.
Yeah, oh yeah. You know him so
Joaquin
much you can't even say his name.
I don't think I can say his name either, but it's nice to see him.
Mm.
It is nice to see him.
Further down in my notes, but I was like, hey, buddy. Good to see you.
Before we talk, Sam, let's make some declarations. Is this a remake or a sequel? Or what is it? What even is this thing?
I think it's a remake.
Okay.
Because
I think it's
not
a reboot.
Reboot?
Well, I guess that's a reboot is what is the word that you use if you're writing about a movie and you don't want to commit to it being a loose continuation or a remake. You can just say reboot and not be wrong. So anything can, well, it's a reboot. We're rebooting it. Whereas like the Suicide Squad that they just did was considered a reboot early on. And it's like, that's actually just a mulligan.
Yeah.
They just took a mulligan on the Suicide Squad.
Totally. I agree with that one. Okay, so...
But you could consider it a reboot.
Or could this even be a prequel? Like, does any of us remember what Patrick Swayze Dalton's backstory was? Did they even bother?
He was a bouncer.
The world's most famous bouncer.
The world's most famous bouncer. And he had personal demons from ripping a man's throat out in self-defense, which when you say it out loud, my only choice was to tear his throat out and then to tear his two friends' throat out going for the turkey.
Right. If they had ripped somebody's throat out in this movie, it could have been a prequel then.
Well, so... His name isn't Elwood in the first one, is it? We don't even know what his name is. It's just Dalton. It could be his first name. It could be his last name, I think. I didn't read a lot. I mean, we did this, how many years ago did we do Roadhouse?
Many moons.
It's been a while. But this is just a remake.
Okay. All right.
Wait, I've got the answer for you, gentlemen. In the original Roadhouse, his name was James Dalton.
Okay.
Oh.
So... I guess it's not a remake.
Why wouldn't it be? Just because you change the guy's fucking first name doesn't make it a remake.
Well, and also
it doesn't have any connection.
The location, the entire plot. I mean, the only thing this movie has in common is the title. The fact that he is hired as a bouncer and his name is Dalton. That's it. Everything else is different.
So A Star is Born with the gal that wears the meat for the dress.
Right. Meat dress.
Lady Gaga.
That's a remake.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch it. You guys watched it, I'm sure. Did it follow the first one or did it follow the one with Judy Garland perfectly? No, it's still a fucking remake.
Yeah. All right. Okay. There's a lot of confusion on the internet as to what this is, and
because they're fucking dumb. I'll get to that in a minute.
Because I'm confused too, but maybe you can clear it all out. I just don't know what this thing is. But go ahead, give us your boring bullshit.
Well, I have been accusing the writers. I'm making brash accusations of the future on how what kind of windfall in movies we're going to see due to the writers' strike. I am going to dial that back because I finally read about how long it was 148 days. So we're only going to see a couple of turds end up in the theater that probably shouldn't have due to panic, where they just grab a script that was already written that wasn't going to get produced, but they're like, well, the writers are striking and we got to make a movie, so let's make this one. We haven't done that one yet because this isn't that one, because this shit started pre-production in 2013.
Whoa! That is a long development time.
Yeah. So originally they brought in Rob Cohen, who was, of course, did Triple X and the first Fast and the Furious movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to do a reboot or a remake of Roadhouse with him.
Okay.
Probably calling it a reboot because they're producers and that's the buzzword at this point. And that you get to be non-committal, whether it's a sequel or a in the shared universe of or whatever. It's just a reboot. They bring in Rob Cohen. He does Alex Cross, which tanks. So by 2000, which tanked in a way that it shouldn't have tanked because it has Tyler Perry in it.
Right.
And so it's supposed to do good, and it's the James Patterson novels. It's got a built-in following, and it just fucking tanks.
Yeah, nobody cares.
So he's out by 2015. Who knows when exactly he was out, but in 2015, MGM's like, oh shit, this Ronda Rousey is the hottest thing ever. We need to do a lady ass kicking bouncer movie, Roadhouse, with her.
Okay.
All full steam ahead. She gets pummeled by Holly Holm, and they're like, she's out.
Ooh, she really got punched hard right there.
They kicked her into next week. We're done with this picture. And I'm sure that it, had she come back and fought well in her next, but she kind of derailed, and that can happen, right? It's whatever. I don't want to speculate on the psychological conditions of Ronda Rousey, or I would say that anyone that thinks that there's going to be a person that's going to ride the top of the UFC because of how many different disciplines go in, and that anyone can have a weakness, and hers was getting her shit punched in. She was able to completely destroy any of the wrestlers that she faced with her superior judo, but she fought somebody that was like a boxer that had Holly Holm had like 18 boxing title defenses. So she just wasn't ready to get punched and kicked that much. And she got punched and kicked a lot.
Okay.
But either way, they're like, you're out. You're going to do a shitty part in one of the Fast movies instead. So nothing happens with this. They just shelve it indefinitely. And then in 2021, they're like, we got to do this with Liman, and we got to do it with Liman, and we got to do it with Gyllenhaal. And Gyllenhaal was already signed up for The Covenant with Guy Ritchie, which didn't do very well. I thought it was pretty decent for what it was.
Right.
And then the Everest. Did you even hear about this shit, Everest, that he was in?
Maybe. I don't think so. I'm thinking about the ride at Disney World, actually, that's Mount Everest that my child cried on. That's what I heard about.
Oh my God, the best ride ever.
The Matterhorn?
No, it's called Everest at Disney World. They got Matterhorn. That's a West Coast thing, is the Matterhorn, Sam. This is an East Coast thing. Yeah. Well,
anyway, Everest apparently did really well for an IMAX movie, which is like breaking even. But
and Gyllenhaal was in that?
Gyllenhaal was. There's a bunch of people, and I'd never even heard of it.
Okay.
And
actually, I think I did hear about it. We're talking like 2019, 2018, somewhere in there, right?
No, it has to be like post 2021 because that's what he's holding this show up for. Liman did a couple of movies in this period that didn't make any damn money at all. Lockdown, which didn't cost anything, so that doesn't set him back. But then this Chaos Walking Business with Daisy Ridley.
Nothing.
And the Spider-Man kid, what's his name?
Tom Holland?
Yep.
Oh, I saw the
shit. Cost like $150 million and made back 27 or something like that.
Oopsie. Ooh, ouch.
So I think you look at where Gyllenhaal's in a movie that breaks even at IMAX expectations. And then you've got The Covenant not doing very good. in the theaters. It was a decent movie, though. And then Liman not doing so good with his too. They're like, we're going to do this, but we're not going to, put it in the theaters, which Liman has been apparently bitching and moaning about that. At one point, he said this is his best work, and everybody's like, pump your fucking brakes, dude. Let's think about this. Swingers, Go, and The Bourne Identity are one of the great 3 movie runs of directors. Just hold on to that. Don't fucking say that this is better than that 3 movie run, that they're all really fucking good. I left it all on the field on Roadhouse. Did you? Did you rip somebody's throat out too in self-defense? Fuck.
Metaphorically,
yes.
And literally, the editor, I couldn't stand that asshole.
There is a decent amount of, and I noticed in this one that he did what he did in the first Bourne Identity, which took me watching that movie probably like 10 times to notice that what they do is they speed up the footage right in the center part of the strike to make it seem like it's a real punch. Or more violent or more fast, because you watch the first Bourne Identity and some of the fighting in this and you're like, dude, Jet Li and Donnie aren't that fucking fast.
Right. And that guy is dead from how fast that punch hit his face.
Yeah. It's sped up. And that's fine. It looks fucking awesome.
Looks great.
And that's where people, again, with the reviewers, and they're like, action sequences need to be more like what Paul Greengrass did in his Bourne Identity 2 and 3. And I'm like, dude, the first one is so much better than the second two. Come on now. Greengrass my ass.
If the other had never existed, I would have been fine, because the first one's such a fucking great movie.
Yeah. In fact, it's just like when I have the little trilogy that they sold in the art box, and I used to just watch all 3 of them just to like, oh, I'm going to watch all 3 of these. I don't do it anymore. I just watch the first one and call it good.
Yeah, totally. I'm good.
On this respect, there's been a lot of reviewers that are, it wasn't just 1 or 2. I'm reading a lot of people like, man, this really maintains the true spirit of the original, which is such a cult classic. And I'm like,
oh, fuck that.
The first one made $61 million in the theater against a $15 million budget, which was kind of high at the time, or at least average at the time for an action movie that you put in the theaters. And then it probably has some of the best rentals of any fucking movie ever, other than like fucking Die Hard. You cannot call that shit a cult classic.
Yeah.
It is a popular movie that happens to be very stupid.
Not to mention,
and you're allowed to like it.
HBO. I mean, HBO was wall to wall. They should have just called it HB Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. Yeah. And it was like the perfect movie for HBO at that time, because it was like the R rating was really artificial in that movie. There was just like some nudity and some cussing and like a thing that was a little too violent just sporadically throughout it to be like, rated R, by the way. This would be great on HBO. Yeah, so I don't get that where people are... This has got a 63 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
And going into this, I'm like, I didn't want to watch it. I was like, am I going to pick this or not? I don't know. And my decision to pick it was based on how the preview reviews were well above a 70%, like almost an 80. And then it shot down to a 63 after its release. And then it didn't get to go to theaters. And I'm like, well, if they didn't put it in the theaters, I'm feeling like this is going to be a safe pick, and that there's no way that you can remake this movie and have it be a good movie without just like putting Roadhouse on the name of it and then like remaking Remains of the Day or something. Just making an entirely different fucking movie. So I struggled with it on the front end because I'm like, oh, the people are saying it's good. I don't know if I should pick this, because I've been wanting to pick this when it came out, and I'm like, it's Roadhouse. It can't be a good movie.
Right.
If it's terror, it can be a dumb movie that we all love. And we keep trying to say this. And I think maybe this is the year of us saying, it's okay, people. You can be in love with a stupid movie. We do it all the time. It can be awesome and terrible all at once. That's fine. So I pulled the trigger on this. And it's, I guess, like as I said, Liman's upset that it didn't get in the theaters. There's still some people that are like, oh man, this is the perfect, and maybe it is. Maybe it is the perfect remake of Roadhouse. I will answer that at the end, but the first one seems to have gained some steam that it possibly shouldn't have.
You mean like some
just
false
even being
nostalgia?
mentioned as a cult classic.
Yeah.
Is like, no, that's just a very popular movie that happens to be very dumb, and you don't know how to explain it, so you're going to call it a cult movie. You know, the shit killed it at the theaters and at the Blockbuster.
And the thing is people love it. Like, and people have never stopped loving the original Roadhouse. It never had a dark period where people were like, yeah, it's not a good movie, and we do so much better now. Like, that's just a dated old movie. No, people fucking watch Roadhouse, like, nonstop. There is someone out there right now who's never heard of Stinker Madness, who does not have Amazon Prime, who still has a tape machine and is watching Roadhouse. It like, there is so many people that love Roadhouse that there is enough that at any point in time, somebody is watching it on VCR right now. Guaranteed.
Yeah,
I
I
really
watch Roadhouse, the original one, at least once a year, if not twice. I love Roadhouse.
It's not fucking Frankenhooker. It's not fucking Deadly Prey. It is a dumb movie that people have loved from the day it was in the theater. It probably was fucking number one that weekend. I mean,
it had to be. It had to be.
Yeah, like, it's not a cult movie. Whoa, look what I found, said TV's Frank. I've got a new movie for you, Joel. No, that didn't happen. He's like, dude, we went to Roadhouse together last weekend.
Yeah.
Are you mental, Frank?
What it would take somebody that grew up under a rock. They'd be like, "Hey guys, I just found this crazy movie that nobody's heard of. It's called Roadhouse." And you're like, "You grew up under a rock, Ted." In fact, we watched that with you last weekend because we watch it once a week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. These guys from Norway pulled me out of the ocean while I was floating, and it turns out I'm a spy. That's the only scenario where you get to not have seen Roadhouse.
I think it's basically, in terms of its love, the only movie that's more bulletproof is Die Hard.
Yeah, probably.
In terms of people loving it and will staunchly defend it for no reason. I would say number 3 is probably Tombstone, though there are people like me, wherever you ended up, like in my instance, it was overexposure to Tombstone. Like I lived in a house where it was basically playing on repeat 24/7, and I'm like, I fucking hate this movie now.
Yeah, Tombstone is
really
perfect.
have to watch it and look at it.
It's an absolute perfect movie to be on TNT. It's not a perfect movie to be on HBO. It is on TNT. Very little editing needs to be done, and it's just wall to wall. They should have called it Tombstone Network Turner. Ted's Network of Tombstone.
But I really like Tombstone. You're talking about the one with Sam Elliott and...
It's Tombstone, Jackie. There's not another one. There's not another Tombstone.
I love that movie.
Of course you do.
And your Huckleberry.
The two of us and all of the listeners know that if Sam Elliott's in it, you love it.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah. I mean, except for when his arm got injured and he was like, "Don't worry, Betsy. I still got one good arm to love you." And that was real tearjerker for me because I'm like, "Oh, no."
She's like...
That was his masturbation hand. Now what's he going to do?
The funny thing is I've only needed one hand to entertain you this whole time, Sam Elliott. Then she pulled on his dong as he gets on the stagecoach and rides off into the sunset.
Yep.
Good thing you got 2 hands, Ellie. Now where's some beef? It's in your pants.
We mentioned that Joaquim de Almeida shows up halfway through as Big Dick, which is great.
Yeah.
The kid that plays the rich shithead, Billy Magnuson, I guess he's in all sorts of shit. I haven't seen him.
He's got one of those faces.
He's the dick face guy.
Yeah, he's always like in every role I've ever seen him in, because I've never known what his name was, but I recognized him as like, oh yeah, you're the dickhead. And like everything that you've ever been in that I've seen you in, you are the dickhead that everybody's like, die, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Or I hope it's you that gets overdosed.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
So, like, I'm going to bring this up. Sadly, I'm in my 40s, and I might have mentioned this before, but when you end, like, the day you turn 40, your TV just turns on to CBS. That's what happens. You can't churn it to something else. They all are like, you're 40. You can only watch CBS. So I get up in the morning and I have to have my coffee, and CBS is on. It's the CBS morning show. And the guy, if anybody else is watching Halo currently, Sam and I are. In the second season, there's a guy that Jackie will be familiar with. He's in the Vampire Diaries. That is the villain. He's the
has he got black hair?
No, he's a brown haired dude. He's the head of Oni. I don't know what his name is, Jackie. It doesn't matter. He's the head of Oni, and if you know anything about the Halo franchise, they're fucking assholes. They're terrible. And I'm like, so his thing is he's always the dickhead. Nobody likes him. He's always a villain, always a shithead. Got a kind of a punch me face, and then he goes and fucking talks to Gail King, and I'm like, this is the coolest guy I've ever fucking seen in my life. He's like, look, I played Halo day one, Combat Evolved. He even said Combat Evolved, and I'm like, okay, now we're talking. He's like, I did it all. I love this franchise. We're talking down in the basement with Mountain Dews and Cheetos, and I'm like, this guy is not a dickhead. He is cool.
Oh, you're talking about Joseph Morgan.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Why not?
That guy is an asshole in the Vampire Diaries. He's one of the originals, and he was also in the spinoff of the originals.
Okay, there you go.
And he's the oldest brother. So he's been playing a dickhead for most of his career.
Always typecast as the villain, and then apparently he's just the sweetest, kindest guy, just mellow and cool. And I kind of wonder if this dickhead in Roadhouse is the same way, or if he's an actual dickhead, because he does have a punch me face. But I'm like now like saying, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that guy has a punch me face, because what if in real life his face is nice? He's a nice face guy.
I don't know if he's a bad person or a good person, but I know that he can play a dickhead great.
Yes,
and
he can.
Doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe it's called acting. The moral of my story is these are actors.
Actors. And
something
finally,
that you also learn in your 40s from watching CBS. These are real people.
Yeah.
So Daniela Melchior, I don't know how to say her last name.
Okay.
She was apparently in Guardians 3 and Fast X and the Suicide Squad.
I've seen all those.
Like, I was looking at what she's in, and I'm like, she's virtually in every movie I've seen in the last 2 years. And okay.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Amazon used this in the 100-year celebration of MGM that they just acquired like last year.
All right.
I think that's great when your company like buys something and you're like, we should celebrate its 100 years of being a thing that wasn't ours until just now.
Yeah, right. And then, hey, when you think of MGM, you think of Roadhouse.
Yeah, I didn't bother to read to see if the movie studio is now completely disconnected from the resorts or not.
I didn't bother to see that either. I'm assuming Bezos would pay for all of it. Like, he's got enough money. Why not also get into
that's what I got.
Hotel management.
Well, you know who I would like to see more is BK Cannon.
BK. BK.
She was the bartender lady that was, I think, did she have glasses on? I can't remember.
She did,
yeah. But she was the one that like served him the coffee at the beginning.
Okay, right. What's your point?
I've seen her in like several things, and she always nails it. I mean, she's always got like kind of smaller parts, but I would like to see her because she's a funny gal. Like in everything I've ever seen her in, it's like you can just tell that behind whatever she's doing is somebody who is super funny, and I wonder if like she does comedian work or something, because I don't know. I would like to see more of her. Right. I liked her a lot.
Well, if we're going to do that, I'm going to jump on the Arturo Castro bandwagon, the guy that was the biker that just wanted some friends to ride his bikes with that's sort of stuck in this movie. He's like, yeah, those are our bikes. Mine's the red and white one outside. And then like thanking him when he brings him to the hospital, and just every time he sees him, he's like, oh, hey, how you doing, man?
Yeah, no, I like that.
That guy's great.
Too. That guy was great.
Yeah, I like that guy too.
Okay, are we ready to get into this?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's set some things up here that the movie doesn't set up at the initial point at the beginning. But Dalton is not the world's most famous bouncer. He is a former UFC fighter, who I don't know if he was good. I'm assuming he's good because obviously they're like, fuck, I'm not fucking with that guy. I've seen him before.
He won the UFC championship.
Okay, I didn't.
Where he killed a guy.
I didn't get that was the championship. But yeah, he kills his friend, Conor McGregor later when he's in this movie. No, it's actually Brant. His character says that, yeah, that's your friend. It's not evidenced through the flashbacks that they're buddies at all. It seems like they're not because at the start of when they do the, what's that? The stare down. You know, they get the guys, they have the press conference, and they're like, hey, Rocky, how are you going to beat the Ivan Drago? Well, I'm going to train real hard. That thing. It's the stare down.
Jake Gyllenhaal,
right?
Yeah, Dalton slaps him.
Yeah, but that's called the stare down, right, Sam?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he slaps him in the face. So
and then he's laughing his ass off.
Yeah, I don't think that they're friends. I think that this is just UFC shit. I don't know what the
somebody
fuck you're talking.
Probably boned somebody else's girlfriend or something.
It is completely unflushed out what this is, but it's used as a vehicle later in the film to justify Dalton's actions, which I don't approve of.
And I guess they used that's a real UFC guy, I think, and after his weigh-in with so-and-so that he was really fighting, they had all the people there, so they staged a fake fight that would look real without having to use a bunch of computer-generated effects that they would decide later to use with boats.
Right. And people. Didn't they do that in Rocky IV as well? They had a fight and they just kept the people there. We just did all the Rockies with our son, so that's why I bring up.
Yeah.
I'm all on Rocky right now. Just can't stop thinking about him.
I thought that they did like the wrestling one was an actual WWF thing in 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that they were able to have all those people still there, and then they had a fake fight with him and Hulk Hogan or whatever.
Yeah. Take advantage of the resources that you got, I guess. And then we just did a movie a couple weeks ago where they actually filmed at a baseball game. Oh, that was blown away. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was blown away. Crazy. My point is, Rocky's awesome. Yeah, so Rocky's so cool that I went to a gambling arena the other, I don't know what they call them, these slot machine places in Illinois, and I had some time to kill. And I'm like, hey, they got a Rocky slot machine. So I go over to Rocky, and I put in a 20, and I get down to about $5. I'm like, not going so great, Rocky. But then Rocky gets, and I fucking won $40. And the whole time the music's playing, and I'm like, yeah, I love this shit. The lady's like, can I get you something to drink? I'm like, shut up, I'm Rockying out.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh man, it was so much fun. Okay, so that's who Dalton is in this movie, Elwood Dalton, and he is discovered at an underground Fight Club bar. This isn't like Don't Talk About Fight Club. This is totally Talk About Fight Club. Come on down here, order some fucking James Babeam, and watch some guys pummel each other. And so he shows up, walks into the arena. After this dude beats the shit out of this other dude.
Post Malone.
This is Post Malone.
Beats the shit out of somebody else. And I'm like, hey, isn't that guy a singer?
Yeah.
I had to look it up.
Okay. And Post Malone's like, fuck that noise. I'm out. I'm not fighting that guy. No, I don't care about the money. I care about being alive and weapons.
Not having my eyeball hanging out the side of my face.
Right. I'm good. Bye. And so Dalton just gets all the money. I don't know if that's how that works.
He just laces back up his boots, puts back on his shirt, and is like, give me the cash.
Mm-hmm.
Was he lacing them up more or unlaced? That was unclear to me.
He was unlacing them because it was a barefoot fight.
Oh.
Because Post Malone doesn't have his shoes on. So takes off his sweatshirt, and then he starts undoing his boots to give the guy time to recognize him.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it clicks with Post Malone's character, he goes, oh, fuck, no. And he bails because he's like, I know what that guy did to somebody who was supposedly his friend.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He beat him to death for a national championship.
Also, like, he's just going to beat me up. I may as well just give him the money without getting beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
discretion.
Dude, this is like $500-600, and I'm not going to look like a hammered fucking hot dog. for $500. Go fuck yourself.
Do you think that there's underground fight clubs that have, obviously there's the underground fight clubs where you dip your hands in glue and then glass shards and, you go out there. And
Thailand.
And then you dip your hands in chocolate syrup and then gummy bears. Do you think that there's an underground fight club that is so tough that they take their shoes off and then dip their feet in glue and then glass shards?
And then just gummy bears
and then
boxing gloves? Of course,
you have to have gummy bears. You have to have gummy bears.
No, I don't think that they do that because the glass would come through your tape
and
cut
so
your feet up, and
tough,
then you wouldn't
Jackie.
be able to walk.
They're so tough that it doesn't matter. You kick your opponent with glass on your feet.
In your feet?
And in your feet. You're not going to die from... You're probably going to die from foot bleed, but your opponent's really going to not like it.
Take this hepatitis B to the face, motherfucker, from my foot to you.
He's worried about Hep B? No, he's worried about all of his blood draining from his body.
When I was in college...
no, Hep B.
Speaking of which, when I was in college, I went to this party and I got fucking drunk, right?
Oh, weird.
Next morning, I go get in the shower, and my foot fucking hurts real bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't noticed it. And I look down, and I've got this huge gash. And it is seriously I don't know, the size of a bean, like the skinny size of a bean.
Bean-sized gashes.
Bean's a very
no,
common
bean
phrase.
Away from my major artery in my foot.
Oh, okay.
And after that, I swore to God that I would never wear flip-flops to a frat party again.
Mm. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is you got so blackout drunk, you didn't realize you had traveled to Thailand and gotten into one of those foot fight things that I'm talking about.
That's probably actually
you
what
killed
happened to me.
6 guys.
Yeah,
because these fraternities always have, these fraternities, they always have these secret rooms. So you're probably right. Mm-hmm. I was probably in some kind of foot glass fight and didn't even realize it.
Yep.
Common. You were it was bean sized because instead of gummy bears, you went with fava beans, and then you ate his liver with a nice Chianti.
Yeah.
I wonder why my mouth tasted so weird the next day.
My mouth tastes like human meat.
And fava beans. I'm never drinking at that house again.
Okay, so Dalton goes out of the parking lot, and this dude comes up to him, and he's like, hey, you cost me a bunch of money, and then stabs him. And Dalton's like, you think this was a good plan? Did you think this went through? And the guy's like, no, I'll go home to my wife now. Bye. Dalton's like,
because Dalton doesn't even flinch. He just stands there
and you know why?
Fucking retard.
You know why, Jackie? Because pain don't hurt.
Pain don't
hurt. Duh.
Well, I mean, after you get the shit kicked out of you like they do at the UFC, I'm assuming a knife stab is what's that? Is that a bee sting? Go fuck yourself. I will fucking pull this out and pummel you with it between my 2 knuckles.
And then you'll have bean-sized injuries all over yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a bean size. It was a bean away from my major artery.
Kind of a bean? A lima bean? A kidney bean?
It was a slash.
Is it a pinto bean? What beans are we talking about here?
I mean,
garbanzos?
Maybe a quarter of an inch away.
Human bean?
It's a kidney bean away.
Oh, man. Okay, so this lady, Frankie, she owns the Roadhouse. It's called The Roadhouse. It's 2 words. And I would have think this movie would have been cute if it had instead have been called Roadhouse, if it had been Roadhouse. That's how you separate the 2. This is Roadhouse.
Yeah. It's across the street from the Roadhouse.
Yeah, Roadhouse. We serve German beers. So she sees this all go down, and she's like, wow, you're a tough son of a bitch. Well, I've got a tough son of a bitch bar.
Yeah, because she's there for Post Malone.
Right. She's like...
And then when he freaks out and walks out, she's like, no.
I want the best. I want this guy that can take a knife to his tummy and doesn't even... It hurts... His pain don't hurt so little to him that he doesn't even bother to say pain don't hurt. Because it's obvious. Yeah. It's so obvious pain don't hurt that he doesn't even need to say it.
Yeah.
Well, she's talking to him, doesn't even pay attention, and all of a sudden he turns around and he's like, there's going to be a lot of blood. And he pulls it out. She's like, oh my God.
I also didn't know if Sam Elliott's character was named Carter Buford in the first one. I didn't go back and look, but they kept saying Carter Buford so much to a guy that's getting a cameo that I was like, This has to be a throwback to something, right? You wouldn't be like,
know.
Carter Buford 10 times.
I don't know. Yeah.
His name was Wade Garrett.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know who the fuck Carter Buford is.
I think it's just a shitty
He was
script,
not
Sam.
mentioned in the original.
Yeah, I think it's just a shitty script. Okay, so
Written
she's
by unstriked individuals.
Yeah, correct. So she's like, yeah, you're a tough son of a bitch. How about you come down to work at the Roadhouse and I'll pay you $5,000 a week and give you a place to live. And after a month, you clean the place up and you go on about your business. And he's like, no, I don't. Go hire Carter Buford. She's like, I don't want Carter Buford. He's like, I think you're going to want Carter Buford.
Yeah. I just got stabbed.
Not by Carter Buford. That guy would be a hell of a bouncer, that Carter Buford. So he's like, no, I'm good. So he drives away. He parks his car on the train tracks as the train's coming. And he's like, no, I'm not going to kill myself today. But it tacos the ass end of his car. And he's like, shit, now I don't have a fucking Buick.
It was like an 85. It was that shitty the last Nova.
Oh, the Nova, like 6.
Yeah, and he couldn't get it started up again in time to evade the train completely because it was that last series Nova.
Yeah, right. So he's like, oh, well, my Nova's busted. I guess I'll take that job that I just said no to. I need another Nova.
He like looks up to God and smiles like, oh, okay, God, I guess you have a plan for me. This doesn't like play out at all throughout the rest of it.
No.
I don't know why he does this thing in the car right here.
Yeah, it doesn't whatever. So
Maybe it was to signify like how bad he feels, like he's given up his life of fame and fortune and now he's gutter fighting and doesn't give a shit about anything other than just being a drifter because he is so ashamed of what he did.
Yeah, but that's not the problem. My problem is, why does he suddenly have a change of heart to become a bouncer? Like, yeah, he was like, okay, I don't want to die today. I'm not going to kill myself right now. The only thing that I can draw from is that he doesn't have a Nova anymore. Like, that's it. His car's all smashed up, and he looks at the note she gave him. He's like, okay, fine, I'll go be a bouncer. There's no coming to Jesus moment or anything like that as far as his decision, other than I don't want to die today.
He looks at the note, and he starts doing the math, and he's like, if I do this, I could get somewhere in between 12 and 26 Novas.
That's what I was going to say. He had done a Facebook search right before this scene where he figured out that there were a significant amount of Novas in this general area. Mm-hmm. He might be able to get an upgrade or some parts for old Nova Betsy that he's driving around in. And he's like, I should do this. I don't want to die today because now I can get parts for my Nova. And then he gets fucking tacoed.
Novas.
He goes to the junkyard and he's like, do you have like 3/4 of a Nova that hasn't been hit by a train?
My favorite part in this whole scene was the line of Mexican people next to the train tracks who were all saying, Nova! Nova! When he couldn't get it to go. Jackie Nova in Mexican means doesn't go. I'm not kidding. So it was I don't know if you knew that, but it was a real marketing problem for Chevy. They're called something else in Mexico. I don't know what they are, but Nova.
In Mexican, not Spanish.
No, it's just in Mexican.
Yeah, okay.
In Hispaniola, they call them...
Maybe. I'm skeptical.
La pizza shit.
La piece of shit?
La pizza shit.
That sounds like something that would be in Italy. The piece of shit.
The pizza shit.
The makers of Fiat need to not toss shame at the Nova.
Yeah, right.
That's right. Fixed it again, Tonys.
Okay.
Good Lord, people with the... Oh.
With the what? With the what, Sam?
That's what Fiat stands for.
It's on.
Why is his name Tony? Racist.
Because... Okay.
Fix it again, Tiara.
Fuck you, Sam.
Fix it again, Trenton.
Steve.
Tamara.
That's my mechanic's name, and I own a Fiat.
Oh, man. Okay. So he takes the bus to Key West, and he gets off the bus, and he meets this, I don't know, later in the movie, he calls her a little girl. This person seems to be an adult. Charlie.
Unclear.
Who works who's the daughter of an owner of a bookstore, co-owner. She kind of runs it together. And she's she's a greeting lady of this part of Key West called Glass Key. Like, you get off the bus, first person you meet is Charlie. She hands you a book that tells you about a tree up the road and says, there's all sorts of good information in this little booklet that I wrote. That will be $32, please. And all the tourists give her money, and she takes them on star tours, the little double-decker, and points to your left and right. Except for none of that happens. She gives away her book for free and says, I am a terrible businesswoman.
Mm-hmm.
I should take advantage
later
of
it's
these
revealed
dumbasses.
that her dad still has his job, and that this isn't really a bookstore so much as a memoriam to her mom and his wife who died.
I think that the kid wrote the tree book based off of the stories that her mom used to tell her. And so now every time somebody gets out of town or gets off the Greyhound bus and looks like they're going to be staying for a bit, she gives them a book in memoriam of her mom. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it goes to enough thrift stores and somebody just happens to pick it up and wants to mass publish it, that would be cool too.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So he's like, "That's cool, kid. I'll take your book." And I'm gonna head down to the Roadhouse, and she's like, "It's over there." We're all expecting it to be an actual Roadhouse, like it's on the. I mean, it is, but it's not. It's not a Roadhouse.
It's not.
This is like just some Jimmy Buffett bar.
It is.
This place is awesome.
Bar ever if they got rid of the Roadhouse bit.
Yeah, it's just the fucking. I'm in Margaritaville place. Like, no sandals, right, bro? Or only sandals, or whatever they say. And like, you show up and you get like a parrot. You drink that's blue and has umbrellas in it, and like fucking.
You get a free parrot at this bar? I want to go there.
No, not like a free parrot, like just a shirt that has a parrot on it or whatever.
Yeah,
they're called parrot heads. Like, these people, our neighbors are parrot heads, Jackie. They go to all these like Key West places and do this shit. This is not a shithole like in Roadhouse, where the Roadhouse is a rough place. You don't.
Yes.
It's not in the middle of town. You have to drive out there to probably get in a fight. That's what you do.
Yeah. The only explanation to why there's fighting there is that she's like, Hemingway used to hang out there, so we try to keep it a little seedy.
Oh. Why?
And you're like, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I'm sure Hemingway did like to get in fistfights, but I mean, like, you know what? It's Hemingway, so I'm going to give you a pass on that one.
Whatevs, lady. All right. So he's like, okay, I'll sit here at the bar. He's watching fights and, scoping the place out, not really doing anything. And he spends all day there just drinking coffee. And then these bikers roll in. And he's like, no, these guys are assholes. They're breaking glass. They've clearly been here before. They're breaking pool cues and hassling folk. And
yeah, in a way that like humans don't behave.
Yeah, totally.
Later on, there's going to be more. We'll get to that. But these guys have a motive to behave like humans don't behave. But other fights that are just sporadic, like in the spirit of Hemingway, I guess, is what the movie is saying. These in the spirit of Hemingway's fights that just sort of spawn intermittently throughout the bar in the middle of the day are kind of like, why would you do that? Like, there's a guy that just be like, you're not playing Freebird, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah, right. And then there's another
and then
guy
some other
being
guy's like, I love this song, I'm going to punch your face.
And this seems to be apparent because Hemingway did knock Wallace Stevens into a puddle and bragged about it in the Key West.
You need to just, on your own time, read a little bit more. Read a little bit more Hemingway, and then also read about the man. He's very interesting. But yeah, I mean, at one point in World War II, he's fucking freelancing with a bunch of French soldiers that he freed from a prison, and they're like, we got to do something about this guy before he commits a fucking war crime. I mean, Freelancing.
Okay. So Dalton, he's like, hey, those are your guys' bikes outside? And they're like, yeah. And so he goes outside like he's going to fuck with them. And so they're like, whoa, and follows them outside. Hey, good. I like that move. Then he asks them about like, hey, you guys got medical insurance? And they're like, what? Yeah, like, good coverage for like dental. You got dental coverage? And they're like, oh, very funny, asshole. And he's like, no, I'm serious. What about a hospital? And the helpful guy's like, yeah, there's one like 25 minutes up the road. He's like, thanks. Okay. You guys don't have to do this. They're like, yeah, we're going to beat your ass. And then he just starts bitch slapping him. And sadly, this is my favorite part of the movie.
I think that unfortunately, the film does not maintain the level of electricity that happens during this bitch slap sequence.
This whole sequence is fantastic. And I hate to say it, but I saw like an abridged version of this in the trailer. And I was like, oh, that's fucking stupid. He's just bitch slapping guys. But when it actually happens, like with the whole setup about the medical insurance and the dental, the whole fucking sequence is fantastic. I mean, like if the whole movie had been this level of how you do action, it probably would have been like, this is my new favorite movie. But it's just the rest of it is not this.
And I like that during this fight, the helpful guy is like, oh shit, when it's his turn to like kind of rush him. And so Dalton takes it easy on him and just breaks his arm.
Just breaks his arm.
And then he just lays there like, oh man, it really fucking hurt. And he's like, I think you broke my arm. He's like, I know I broke your arm. Just stay down there.
And then Frankie,
it doesn't hurt that bad. Stop it.
Frankie comes out and he's like, hey, these guys need to go to the hospital. Don't care. Okay, well, do you have a car I could borrow? Because I'll drive them. She's like,
not
no,
for these assholes.
No, I do not.
Yep. She's like, fuck them. Leave them there.
It's hilarious. And so he gets a car, and the next shot, you just see them all in the car together, like, oh, and he's just cruising to the hospital to drop these guys off.
Bump.
Yeah.
He's like even giving them the heads up that there's going to be like a change in the car. Bump.
Yeah.
And they're, oh.
And then it's over. And then the rest of the movie is what it is.
And they do a weird thing. It's like he gets stabbed in the parking lot just to do the stab scene from the first one. And it's like, if you're going to take stuff from the first one, why that? What's so special about that scene that is... Because whatever that scene has, I don't think is...
So that they can cram in a love interest.
Yeah, so that he can meet the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not stabbed... And he just drives them to the hospital, and she like confronts him and is like, it's assholes like you that make it hard. And then he says, oh, people that beat people up and then take them to the hospital? Because I'm pretty sure I'm like the only guy that does this.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about people like me, I know one of me. Either way, without the stab wound and him driving them to the hospital, there are a multitude of ways to set up a budding romance here without the stab wound.
But that's
just saying.
This is pain don't hurt. They don't say it, but that's where pain
That's
don't
true.
hurt comes into the first one, is in the hospital, and that's how he meets.
Because he doesn't want any pain meds, and she's like, it's antibiotics, dickface. I can just tell by the cut of your jib that pain don't hurt.
Anyways.
And I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie is fucking ripped. I mean, he's got those sexy little V-line things down by his crotch.
Okay.
I'm just saying, that's really hard to get. Like, that is a level of fitness that is... Wow, that guy worked out a lot. I have a lot of respect for that.
I'm guessing you didn't see Southpaw.
No.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
So he goes back to the Roadhouse, and he's like, hey, Frankie, I don't want to stay upstairs. I saw this little shithole boat down the street. And she's like, oh, that's my boat. It's called The Boat. You can stay on it.
Named by her uncle.
Yeah, he named it the Roadhouse. If only I knew the German word for boat. Hey, can I stay on the U-boat?
Das Boot.
Oh, yeah, Das Boot. Duh. Motherfucking goddamn it, me. Shit. Das Boot. That's what it should have been called. Oh, Sam, oh, God, beautiful bastard. I hate myself. Okay, so she's like, yeah, you can stay on Das Boot, but watch out for Das Croc. Because there's a crocodile. I don't know.
There's a crocodile
that eats dogs and people, and he's like, oh, cool. Okay, well, whatever. Next morning, the bartender comes and brings him breakfast. She's like, hey, you seem cool. How about some taquitos? And he's like, all right. So he walks into town, and everybody's saying hi to him. Hey, Dalton. Hey, how's Das Boot, Dalton? Did you see the croc?
Yeah.
And he's like, wow, everybody fucking knows. This town is great. Because he's famous now. Because he beat up those bikers. And so the whole town knows.
Stayed the night and intends to stay longer, is the insinuation here.
Boy, if that Dalton stays around, we can rebuild the farm, honey. If Dalton, we can get the mill going back again. Yay, the mill!
Do you think they have mills in the Keys?
I don't know. I'm just throwing out.
I think they have
cliches.
fishing and drinking.
Yeah.
Which makes me want to go there.
We can get the sugar cane plantation going again. The slaves? No, Dalton, don't get the sugar cane plantation going again. That was a bad time.
Yeah, they're like, we can get the fishing and drinking going again. And they're like, he's like, that's what you're doing right now.
Yeah,
it is what we're doing right now. You're correct.
Tourists are coming here to drink, fish, and fight.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. This town does not have a tourism problem. Dalton's not here to save the tourism. He's here to save people's teeth. But by taking teeth out, it's mutually assured destruction for teeth. All right.
The good of the many teeth outweigh the good of the few
one.
teeth.
Yeah, the tooth. Or the tooth. So there's some ruffians. They see him and they're like, oh shit, we're not fucking with this thing. We need to get out of here. And they go to the boss's boat, and that's where we get introduced to Brant. Brant is the son of a drug dealer who also built half the town, but used it to mask his drug running. His coke importation.
I'm guessing.
Import-export business.
Yep.
And this guy is like, well, I want you guys to take down the Roadhouse, so I'm sending goons to hassle the place all the time. So the lady sells to me, because let's just skip to he wants to build a resort. And the only thing that's stopping him is the Roadhouse. She's holding out. She won't sell because it's her uncle's.
But he owns all the other land.
All the other land.
So, what the fuck, man? Just make a new plan and fuck off.
Here's my problem with this, with Brant's dumb shittery, is it's a Jimmy Buffett bar next to the highway, next to where your resort's gonna be. That's what you want your tour.
Okay,
that's where the tourists go.
My whole question is that how is this bar next to the hotel a problem?
Right. You're the problem.
Yeah, if anything, you build your resort and then you make a pathway, a nice pathway for your resorters to walk back and forth with security at, certain points so that the guests feel safe.
Right.
To go down and do additional rentals when all of your rentals are done or spoken for, right? Well, we're out of jet skis today, but a short 10-minute walk down the side of the beach here, you'll see an additional boat and ski jetty rental and a very nice, quaint bar that you can have a few drinks at. And then when you're ready, please come back to the hotel.
Yeah.
It's not like they're serving food or anything there. I mean, they're missing out on alcohol, but they're going to get fucked up
Jackie.
there and then fucked up over here.
It's virtually the entire element that you don't want in your hotel packaged near where your hotel is, where you can just be like, oh, you gonna go drinking till 2. We don't do that at the hotel bar, but hey, walk right over there.
Right. No, it's a perfect, it's not even a drink till 2 place, Sam. Again, this is a Jimmy Buffett bar. This isn't what the movie tells us it is. This isn't some rough place. It became a rough place by Brant. before Brant, it was owned by some lady's uncle. I mean, it's just a chill fucking place, man.
Maintain the element of Ernest Hemingway fist fighting.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, okay, lady, here's the deal. We want to make a partnership with you. We're going to build this hotel. You can't stop us because the zoning commission laws are already allowing us to put this hotel down. But we'd like to supplement your business and make our tourists happy. Could you say that Ernest Hemingway used to come here and fist fight, but stop the fist fighting that you're allowing and just have it be the Jimmy Buffett place that it is on the outside? And she would be like, you're going to send me a shitload of fucking tourists?
This is my bar, and my bar, we fight Ernest Hemingway style. We're pushing people into puddles, and then we're bragging about it. And that's the end of the fight. Now, if it goes past puddle pushing, then we have a problem. And that's why we have Dalton here to make sure that nobody gets pushed past the puddle pushing. Once that puddle pushing that's what we're famous for. I have built puddles all around this bar. I mean, there's just some in the floor here where it's kind of bowed in, but we've allowed the puddle to accumulate there just so that the puddle pushing can continue to happen in Hemingway fashion.
What if somebody gets pushed into a puddle and the person in the puddle, because it's like a tidal pool, gets up and hits the other person with a starfish? Is that too much?
Ooh.
No.
Okay.
That we call an extra special experience here at the Roadhouse. That's nature, my friend. You have just been hit by nature.
Yeah. In an ideal world, Brant would just offer her like a loan to clean it up real nice, thematically matching the hotel, because she's going to make it back in the first 6 months and be able to pay him back. And he can even be like, oh, this is not even the most
endless customers,
nicest terms on a loan, and you're still going to go for it because of how much fucking money you're going to make with a hotel next to you.
Endless customers. Endless. This place is going to explode with people. You are going to have to hire one of those guys that stand outside with ropes to allow people in. Hot spot, lady. Okay, that sounds great.
I mean, the only thing that would make it better is like guys in G-strings, bringing you drinks.
You can do that. Whatever. Yeah, it's like, okay, we'll team up with that hedonism thing that whatever is.
Yeah, ripping and a tearing.
Ripping and a tearing. All right. So Dalton's there. And he's training Billy, the other waiter / bouncer, how to bounce and dodge knives. And then he finds some dude who is like, hey, nice knuckles. Your knuckles are all smashed up. You must be a fighter. And he's like, yeah, I've got punched in the face a few times. Okay, well, you're hired as a bouncer. And then he brings him back to the bar, and Frankie's like, wait, no, I hired you as a bouncer. I didn't hire anybody else. You are not the manager of bouncers. You are the bouncer.
Oh, he's the manager of the bar by day 3, the way he's walking around.
Oh, yeah, but, like, you don't have that power, Dalton. You're not a hiring manager. You're not in HR of this bar. You can't just go out, hire non-OSHA certified dudes to punch people. Whatever. So then he can just sit at the bar, like drinking coffee all day while these two bounce. Yep. Wait a minute. Why am I paying you, Dalton?
Because the point is that he trains these other two up so he can leave. Because he's only contracted for a month.
Yeah, but
that's true.
So he's actually providing her an additional service that was not discussed during the contract.
That she has to pay. I don't know, man.
She didn't. She didn't leave herself any space to question his methods. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Anyways, we get him and the EMT. Her name is Ellie. They do some dating or some flirting. We're just gonna skip they end up liking each other, okay? That's the end of that until much later where it's a problem. He's walking home one day because this is all like days pass type scenario. He's walking home, and this truck comes at him, tries to run him over, and he dodges it. And then the truck tries to back him up over him, and he jumps into the bed of the truck, but the truck crashes off the bridge, and he falls to his death and is drug into the sea.
And there's some lady in the truck. Right?
My truck, you fucked it up.
Like, there's a very... At the beginning of this sequence, you're like, oh no, they're going to run down Dalton. Mm-hmm. By the end of it, you're like, are these just really Florida drunk people?
Yeah. Right.
And this is incidental.
Uh-huh.
Because they never come back into play.
No, that's Dell. That's the lead biker. He's driving the truck.
So he then walks back to his boathouse faster than him?
Yes.
Okay, whatever.
Even though Dalton's in the water, which is where the boathouse is as well.
Sure. He might not be a strong swimmer.
Well, he apparently is, because
and
the
he's
truck
heard about
lands on
those
top
alligators that ate that
There's
dog.
a fucking croc in there that he outswims. He dodges a fucking truck coming at him under the water. I think say he's a damn fine swimmer. So he gets back to the boat, Das Boot, and Dell's there, and he's got a shotgun. He's like, God damn it, why couldn't you just let me run you over? Because now I got to shoot you. And he's like, no, you're not. I've got this clever dialogue that's going to stop you from it, and a coffee table that I'm going to kick into your chest. Hiya. And then he kicks him through the window of the boat, and he lands in the water, and then Dell gets eaten by the crocodile that Dalton just outswam.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, what are you going to kill me? And he's like, why would I kill you? Come on. I'm going to help you up the side of the boat. And he throws the gun into the water, which triggers the croc. And the croc is there,
gun,
and it's
trigger.
chow time. And he's still trying to, like, pull the guy up, but then the croc snaps the rope with his croc teeth.
That's actually Steve Irwin technique was always throw a shotgun at crocodiles and they'll come swarming.
Crocodiles hate shotguns. They're like, what is this, a Remington? Because they can't read. And
on account of them being crocodiles.
Yeah, well, they got a little vision problem. There's the floaters because it's dirty water. So they're like, is that a Weberton? No, that's a Winchester. No, it's a Winchester. And they have this big argument, and they're like, dude, are those legs over there? And then everybody comes in and gets a little piece. It's like one of those frog leg barbecues.
Frog leg barbecue.
Where everybody comes over for frog legs and chicken feet.
Okay. Haven't been to one of those.
I heard of them. I don't know if they're really true, but somebody told me about them. They could have just been making me look like an asshole.
Sounds like something that they would do at the Roadhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that these people, now that I say that out loud, I feel like an ass, and maybe they were just egging me on and making me look stupid.
Okay.
Well, either way, there's
They don't have to try
major dialogue about crocodiles and their behavior later. And at one point, his new girlfriend is like, they hide their food. And I'm like, well, don't they just eat the guy? They're not going to find him because the crocodile ate the guy and swam off.
That's just how it is around here. You get eaten by a crocodile, nobody's ever going to find you because they stash you. They got little people stashes all over the place.
In their belly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the guy who had the dog on missing, he was the first one to say it to him. They never found Fluffy because crocodiles hide their food.
Inside of
in their
them.
belly.
Oh, I didn't think to look there.
That's not a person, it's crocodile poop. Case
Do you think
closed.
it's appropriate? Do you think that it's appropriate to say that crocodiles poop gold? Because, when they eat somebody that's wearing jewelry, like poop it out.
Like
so
Key
it's
West
like
people?
the crocodile who ate the golden, or who lays the golden poop.
Yeah. All those like spring breakers that go down there and they're like, show us your tits. Nice gold chain, douche. And then the crocodile's like, hey, somebody say douche, chomp. And then that guy gets turned into poop. And I think that's a great. We should build like those fan boats with giant metal detectors on the bottom of them and magnets, and you just drive through the keys and suck up the
crocodile poop jewelry.
Yeah, croc poop.
And then you could kind of polish it up. Well, you'd have to power wash it first. But then you could kind of polish it up, and then you could have like your own jewelry store based off of how many crocodile missing person crocodile cases were that week.
This is actually, like, this isn't even a joke. This is like the script of Motel Hell, like, or one of those tongue-in-cheek horror movies, you know, that aren't like, I don't mean like Asylum or Sci-Fi Original. I mean like Fido. Just one of those fun. That would be actually a really great script. Like, this is your business. Why do all these people keep getting killed by crocodiles? Bloodhook? I mean, just, you know, one of these. I want to make this movie now. I love it. You invite the douches down specifically to, like, make a bunch of money and cleanse the world of douches.
You could take it as like, this is an exclusive crocodile safari. You're going to get a chance to shoot one of them.
Oh, you don't say shit about crocs, Jackie. You know, you say, this is where you want to come, douches.
Well, you got
all
the
the
ladies
ladies
down there. Douchey.
Yeah,
there's hot chicks. There's a chance that you could be able to shoot some.
There's no
some
sexual
animals.
assault laws. Yeah.
The ladies are all in that thick, swampy area on the other side of that foliage blind.
Yeah, go
Hop
get
in there.
them.
Get the ladies.
They
They're
can't
not
stop
crocodiles.
you. Yeah.
But then you have your Crocs, right? And they've got, like, you know, you kind of got it caged off a little bit so that the Crocs can't poop outside of this general area, so that when they eat the douchebags, that they're shitting in the general area. So then, like, once a week you could do your little drive around and pick up their jewelry for your jewelry store.
Oh, and there's a whole sequence where you Pavlov dog the Crocs. You train them that you throw beef at them, right? And then spray Axe deodorant at the same time you're feeding them, so that they're just like, Axe deodorant, chomp, chomp, chomp.
Yeah. You yell the word hella before you toss the meat out the side of the boat.
They spray the deodorant and yell hella.
It's a great movie. Oh, man.
This is a business plan.
I would totally watch that movie. So, okay, now we gotta move on, though. Cut to elsewhere, some, I don't know, place. And Knox, Conor McGregor's character, he's banged a lady. His dad or the husband's gotten pissed. He sneaks out the back window. He's a backdoor man. That's 2 door songs in one episode. And he's walking around town buck-ass naked until he finds a dude. His phone rings. He has his phone in his socks because that's how he screws. Phone rings and he's like, "Hey, what's up? This is Brant's dad. Brant is an idiot, and I need you to go over there and, like, clean all of Brant's dumbassery up." Knox, the naked guy.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, was that a nice ass.
Oh yeah, like Conor McGregor's butt.
It was nice.
Jackie, do you know who Conor McGregor is?
Yeah, he's a UFC fighter.
Okay. Yeah. Is he a tool? Is he one of the tool guys? I mean, they're probably all tools, but, like, is he one of the mega tools? Like
I don't think so.
Chris Paul?
I don't think so
He's
either.
fine in this movie, so that's decent.
Logan Paul?
Character is... No, that guy's a total... No, nothing like that.
Okay.
But he doesn't just steal this man's coat. He burns down the merchant tent that is adjacent to the man who he steals his coat. Like, that's helpful, I guess, in his coat theft.
He had to burn down the Hot Topic, Sam.
It says that he's in Call of Duty Infinity Wars.
Oh.
Okay. Great. So was Kevin Spacey.
He hasn't been arrested in, like, the last 6 months, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay. Neither is Kevin Spacey. So he goes to Florida. He's on his way to help out. I'm not sure how he's going to help. Anyways, the EMT, they go out and do some more dating and stuff. And he's like, killed a guy. And she's like, well, I know about that, so kiss me. Knox gets to the dad's house. He's driving like a maniac. And he's like, hey, how about some sandwiches? And they're like, we've got some, but you can't have any because we don't know who you are. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, how about I just eat your sandwiches and punch your mom in the face? Will you get me more sandwiches if I do that? And they're like, yeah, that sounds actually like something we would do is get you more sandwiches. Please don't punch our moms. So he's there. Dalton, he's picked up by the cops, and he's taken to Big Dick. Hey, I'm Big Dick. I'm not going to call you that.
Yeah.
I loved that line. I mean, he was just so polite and clever in this scene. It was just like, yeah, okay, no.
I'm the sheriff, but you can call me Big Dick, just like everybody else on this island. He's like, how about Mr. Penis? Can I call you that? Nope, it's Big Dick. I'm Dick, and I'm a big dick. You know, I never thought out this nickname. I just thought because on account of my size and my name being Richard that it all made sense. But boy, you know what? This whole time people have been walking around being like, man, have you talked to Big Dick lately? Like, it's been a hard time for Big Dick since his wife died.
I noticed in the credits, though, that he is not listed as Sheriff Big Dick. It just says Sheriff.
Yeah. Wee, wee,
so
wee,
I think
wee.
he gave this nickname to himself.
Wee, wee, wee. Oh, boy. That sheriff car is driving fast. Yeah, Big Dick really gets around.
Big Dick's moving.
Ever since his wife died. You know, that's how it's so hard for him. Is, you know, he's a
lot
widower.
of things are hard for Big Dick. Hard on him.
Yeah, that Big Dick. Man, I saw him drinking.
That guy's being hard on Big Dick.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta keep going. There's movie here.
Don't put your hands on me. I'm Big Dick. Yeah, he's like, stop fucking around and putting your nose where it doesn't belong. And so they take him outside and they beat him up like dirty, like he's in L.A. in 1991.
But then the doctor pulls up, and she gets out of the car. She walks up to Big Dick and slaps him in the face. She's like, what do you think you're doing? Slaps him in the face, and she's like, get up, asshole. Let's go. Get in the Mini Cooper.
Wow, you just totally put your hands on the head of Big Dick.
That's my dad.
Ah!
Ew, gross.
Gross. Sometimes you just have to slap a big dick around so it knows who's boss.
Yeah, have you ever dorted a big dick? It's when I rubbed the top of his hair. And then that's when Dalton just like opens the door of the Mini Cooper and rolls out.
Yeah. About that bus ticket.
Check, please. So meanwhile, there's goons. They've gone back to the bookstore. And they've got gasoline, and they're gonna burn the place down. And we cut away from that. So Dalton,
just do enough damage so that he'll get the message, which means burn the motherfucker to the ground and fuck up anybody who's inside.
I got your message. You could have just called. All right, so Dalton, he gets to work, and Brant's there. He's like, "Hey, you must be Dalton." Because I saw you on TV on this YouTube that's on my phone. I just want to know why you killed that guy. That was your friend. And Dalton's like, I don't.
He just kind of smirks, like, just push me a little bit further, asshole, and you'll find out. And I'm like, what kind of like trickery, mindfuckery is this supposed to be? Like, he was there, asshole. He was the one that punched the guy to death.
It was like streamed on pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
It was the championship. The whole world fucking saw it. Got me. Oh, you know about that? Yeah, so does fucking everybody else, dipshit. All right, you got me, Dalton. I'll see you later.
The bad guy's like, look, only 6 people in this shithole of a town have internet, and I'm one of them.
Blackmail. No, you're not.
And he just kind of stares forward and then smirks like, fuck off.
You killed the guy, Dalton. Got your ticket now. No, you don't.
He's like, yeah, because
it's a fucking YouTube.
when I get cornered, I become an insane asshole. That should be a red flag to you, sir.
Well, then I'm leaving. Goodbye. That's all he does.
In my pink suit.
You're, So he goes outside.
Which is like, interesting choice, man.
Right.
Who wears a pink suit to
It's
go
not-
to a...
You got to be in Florida and rich to pull it off, and at least
but-
have a gram of cocaine on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, you're not going to the Roadhouse in that suit because you know that some jackhole is going to spill on you and it's going to stain. And when you got a nice pink suit like that, that's not the place you wear that.
It's not
He's
pink.
just stopping by on the way to someplace else that a pink suit's going to work out.
Yeah. It's
All
not,
right.
it's not pink. It's
And
salmon.
then the owner tosses him a bunch of shade for dressing like an asshole because he's dressed like an asshole.
Salmon. All right. Anyways, Knox is out in the parking lot. He's like, "Hey, when you fuck up that guy, make it hurt because he didn't answer my question about why he killed that guy, or the audience's question about why he killed that guy."
And you can burn this place down.
Yeah. So they go in. Knox is being a dick, just predictable as you can imagine. It's not interesting or clever to even discuss, but the whole place goes apeshit. It causes a bar-wide bar fight, and Dalton's not doing shit about it for a very long time until Knox stands in the middle of the bar and just goes, "Dalton, come out and play." Oh yeah, I forgot I was a bouncer.
Paging Mr. Dalton. Mr. Dalton, your bar fight is here.
But they fight.
But it's weird because, like, he beats some dudes up, pushes some people out of the way, right, so he can get over there. And he's like, what? What do you want? And the guy's like,
Fight?
Like, he didn't really have an answer, so he just, like, starts fighting him. Like, never let somebody get this close to you, and then headbutts him, and then the fight is on!
Apparently Jackie cared, because I didn't, about this whole sequence at all.
No, this whole fight is weird because it's like there's fighting and then they're both half-assing it.
It's
and
super
then
half-assing.
Eventually he just like becomes disinterested in everything and he's like, all right, well, this is stupid. I'm going to wander off. And he does.
And
well, I
Knox
think that
is
he
like,
finally realizes
"Bye."
when he gets pushed outside and he sees the owner that is coming back from the pink salmon guy's car.
Uh-huh.
He finally makes the connection that she hasn't been honest with him and that these are just not riffraff. They are trying to push her out of the bar. And so he's like,
okay.
Fuck you, bitch. That's worth an extra $5,000 a week. I'm out.
You should have told me your entire life story before you hired me to beat up guys who come in and try to beat up other people. That's not his concern. The whole time, this is Dalton's day, Jackie. He wakes up, he goes to the bar, some guy in a pink suit comes and says, I know about you on YouTube, because here it is on YouTube. Do you remember that you were on YouTube? And he's like, oh, dang it. Now I can't do a bouncer thing anymore. All these guys come in and start fucking up the place. He's like, I'm too sad because that guy saw me on pay-per-view. I can't be a bouncer anymore. And now I learned that these guys who I'm supposed to bounce have motivations that aren't just, let's go to a bar and fight. Well, I guess I'm not a bouncer anymore. It's stupid. This whole scene is the stupidest part of this whole fucking movie.
We're supposed to be told...
because he was supposed to be a hero, Justin.
He's not. At
He
no
came
point in
back
time
there-
does he have motivations
No, he
that are
was there.
heroic.
He was there for redemption for killing that dude.
Nope.
And he was going to use his fight ability to help out this lady in some shithole town. And
Not
it was
true.
going to help redeem him.
He was there to buy more Novas.
He was there to buy more Novas. He
That's
was there to maybe buy more Novas, but ultimately he was there because he wasn't dead and he was kind of bored.
Yeah.
And in this scene...
And kicking the shit out of people could be fun if you knew how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, he can do that. He was already doing that, Jackie. He doesn't have heroic intentions. He is there to
doesn't.
do
But
a
now he's
job
fighting,
that now he
like,
doesn't
you
do.
and Sam at a bar, and he's like, this is fucking easy. And I kind of like just slapping dudes and like throwing them out.
What?
Because it's so much easier than AFC fighting.
Okay.
Like, I don't even really
AFC.
have to kick anybody.
You've gone over the
So-
deep end. You don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, what the movie's trying to tell us is that he's now shut down because he knows that his anger turns into an insatiable bloodlust that will only end at the full death of humanity besides himself.
I can't do this anymore. What, are you afraid, Dalton? Yeah, I am afraid. And then the very next scene, he turns around and he looks at Captain America and says, that's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry. And then turns into the Hulk. Because that's all it is. I see.
Wait,
I'm
does
so
it? No,
pissed
that's not
off.
that. Because he's like, if I get angry, I'll kill all these people.
Mm-hmm.
And then he walks to the bus station and he sees that the bookstore has been burned down. And then he goes, oh, all these people deserve to die. I'm going to stay. Because they burnt down books.
Superman.
Knowledge of humanity.
The Library of Alexandra. Library of Alexandretta? Or is that just
Alexandria?
Alexandria, right. You know that there wasn't just like one time that the Library of Alexandretta, God damn it, I did it again, burned down. It was like a series of fires over like 200 years. It just, that place was always on fire.
That's why Mario Andretti's Andretti Library is fireproof.
Man, that's
like
right.
His race suit.
Okay. So he walks to Dad's house. And the guy's like, oh, hey, I'm supposed to stop you, Dalton. You're not my friend. You can't have these sandwiches. And so he pulls a knife.
And this is the guy that is kind of a right hand, we should say, to the son. He's been on the cruise or the yacht or whatever. And this is the first time he's on land. So he's there because shit went down and it didn't go well.
Okay, whatever.
/ he's supposed to make sure that they are nice to the maid that comes once a week to clean up after these a-holes. And
they have fucked that place up. There's no maid.
Yeah, there's no maid.
The pool is half drained. There's tents. They're doing laundry with laundry lines. Like there's not, like these fucking uncivilized pricks don't even know how a washer and dryer works.
Yep. Anyways,
okay.
So he kills this guy. Throat punches him. Doesn't tear his throat out, but he throat punches him, and the guy just drowns. He's like, that's the thing you don't know about me, Captain America. I'm afraid of myself, that I have a bloodlust that Sam explained in a better way than Justin did. So he nabs this cash from, or he gets tipped off by the nice goon that there's this meeting with various figures, nefarious dudes at 5 a.m. on an island.
The best character in the movie that's like, I just wanted to be in a cool gang, but then gangs were lame, so I'm taking my motorcycle elsewhere. It was very nice meeting you, sir. That's what happens in that scene. It's great.
It is super funny. And then he gets on with his cast. He's like, good luck to you. And then he just kind of rides off like, thanks for not fucking killing me.
So he finds...
And in Dalton's mind, he's like, this is the only redeemable person out of this group. So, yeah, I'm going to let this fucker live. That, and he will tell my story. It's like, you know, when you let one person from the village live to tell everybody else.
You are my Hemingway.
Don't punch that guy, though.
Watch out for puddles. Okay, so he goes down to this meeting place, and he sees this cop, and he's like, oh, okay, I'll take out this cop and open up his secret chest of cash that he's got. Whoa, that's a lot of money. And then he's like, hey, cop, you're waking up. I've got a dead guy that I punched in the throat, and I'm going to stick next to you, and then I'm going to shoot him in the chest, and everybody's going to blame you for it. And he's like, well, I'll just say it was you. And he's like, no, you won't. You won't remember shit because I'm going to bonk you in the head. He bonks him in the head.
Yeah.
That guy totally remembers every fucking thing.
But that guy's like completely frozen from being in ice in an ice chest all night. And he's like, yeah. And the story starts out with Florida Man. Shoots frozen man 6 times in the chest, believing he's zombie. Right. Checks out.
Checks out.
Yep.
He also takes all the cash and puts it on a boat. And this is the first thing that I find truly unexplainable. Like, things before are like, the character motivations don't make sense. Everything's pretty stupid up until now. Mm-hmm. It hasn't done anything good like the slap fight sequence. But he just puts all the money in the boat and then sends that boat ghost riding out into the Atlantic.
You assume that he put the money in the boat. You don't actually see him do that. But he does.
That's
boat
true.
Does take off into the Atlantic.
So...
yeah, what was the point of that?
Just making us think coppers? That I guess that I thought that the money was in there when it wasn't.
A fucking red herring. It's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so the sheriff stops by Das Boot, and he's like, hey, they kidnapped my daughter. You gonna help with that? And he's like, yeah, I'll help with that. So he gets a boat, this cop's boat, whatever, who cares? And he rides it out to the yacht where Brant's yacht, because he knows where that's at. He's like, I've got GPS tracking on you, Brant, and out in the ocean. And they're like, hey, did you bring that money? And he's like, no. Oh, you were supposed to bring the money. I'll kill the girl. And he's like, I don't think you will, because the sheriff looks like he's just chilling with one of those big glasses that Justin talked about earlier with the umbrellas. I think they call them blue hurricanes or whatever. He seems pretty relaxed. You guys are playing Jimmy Buffett. I don't think you guys are in a position to kill a girl. And they're like, damn it, he's got us. Except for he doesn't, because I did kidnap your daughter. And he's like, damn it, you weren't supposed to do that. That's my daughter.
Well, and
Yeah.
And we kind of skimmed over, or we didn't really mention that after she saves him from being beat to death by the cops and her dad, that she tells him, look, I moved away. I changed my name. I went to medical school, and then I came back here, and I don't know fucking why I did that. So that's why there's like, and it's implied that her and her father have a salacious. What is that?
Incestuous. She touches the big dick.
No, she doesn't, Sam. No, Sam, no. This is a tenacious D type of
Tenacious D. She's D'd him up. She's like white on rice. He can't get to the hole. She takes the ball. Doesn't know what to do with it. Gives it back. Just gets back on defense again.
Sam, what's under there?
Underwear.
I just made you say underwear. Yes.
That's her victory. You just slayed her, and she underweared you. Huh. Okay.
So, anyway, there's a bunch of tomfoolery with double crossing and intrigue and making faces at one another on the boat, and some guy that's like supposed to hurt Dalton, and he's like, I can't really do that. And then I believe Dalton blows up the cop ex-husband's boat.
Knox is inbound, and they're like, oh, fucking kill that crazy asshole.
Oh, yeah, he stole a driver's ed car and then stole a dinghy.
Right. Because he's
just
mad.
Stealing shit.
He's just so mad. I don't know why. Don't know what Knox's motivation at all.
Either way, does Dalton blow up a boat with road flares?
I don't know what he blows it up with, but it's the ex-boyfriend
There's
cop
also
boat.
A very unclear timeline of when he comes into possession of Conor McGregor's explosives or road flares. I can't tell what they are.
Conor McGregor.
I think it's when
Knox brought road flares or dynamite into this movie, but at no point in time does that dynamite or road flares get into the possession of Dalton.
No.
Well, I think because when Connor first goes to the dad's house,
Knox, just call him Knox.
He says Knox's house.
No, not
Knox.
Oh boy.
No. When Knox goes to bad guy dad's house, and he's like, "I'm going to put my shit here,
right,
and then I'm going to sleep in the master bedroom." So I think what happened was that after Dalton punches that one dude in the throat, right? He goes and digs through the stuff, and he's like, "Hey, this
rummaging.
is some explosives."
It's
why not?
plausible,
Nobody's there.
but
yeah,
there's a
you can
sequence.
try
They
to
have
explain
alligator
it.
jewelry.
Yeah, we have to add a
there's
lot of
ways
content.
to try to explain it, but he comes into possession of these in a way that the movie makes unclear, and we're also unclear whether they're road flares or explosives until something blows up.
Yeah.
By remote control, which is some clever wiring, I think,
And a
by
key
a guy
fob.
who doesn't have more than 3 shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's not well handled. Anyways, that boat blows up and it causes the yacht to start sinking. And he's like, "Oh, I gotta find my girlfriend." So he goes downstairs. She's already doing fine. She's got a fire extinguisher. She's bashing out the windows. And they both swim up to the top, and there's guys out there, and Dalton has to beat them up in water, and they sink down to the bottom of the ocean, and he gets a fight in this ocean cowboy bar, which is weird. And then the waitress is like, "Goodbye." Tips his hat to her and winks and gives her the gun. That's a different movie, and it's hilarious. So she gets, Ellie gets the EMT. She gets on the boat that Brant's on because there's just this spare boat running around. I don't know whose boat
That's got to be Big Dick's boat.
Big Dick's boat, sure.
No, it's not, because he has his own boat later.
That's right.
Yeah, there's like two extra boats when he pulls up.
Over.
It's Brant's boat to get to his bigger boat.
He's like, I'm on this boat and I'm taking it to the Roadhouse and I'm going to take it down myself, motherfuckers. And takes off.
How does he think he's going to do that?
I think he does how he thinks he's going to do it. We'll get to that.
That's not a good plan if that's how it worked out.
But nothing else has worked out. So Knox is out there. He's schmeving around in this dinghy and he's trying to run over Dalton. And then Dalton gets on the dinghy and kicks Knox off, but Knox is being dragged by this anchor that he was holding to use as a weapon, blah, blah, blah. And chases after Brant. Brant's like, oh, yeah, well, I'll play chicken with you. I've got a bigger boat. And then Jaws eats them because he didn't have a big enough boat. And they play chicken, and Dalton uses the dinghy to launch himself onto the larger boat. It's not good.
So the first part of physics that doesn't work out is when he's able to like keep his arm getting onto the dinghy.
Yeah, right. He's got a tough arm, Sam.
And it's like when you just like grab the horse and like hop up on there or whatever.
Right.
He does that trick in a dinghy boat with the UFC guy.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's banter before some fighting, which ends up with like, this was a missed opportunity here because he should have done the barefoot water skiing, the Conor McGregor.
Yeah, right.
Instead of just getting dragged. Because he grabs the anchor and is being pulled by the dinghy after Gyllenhaal punts him out of it some way or another. And then he should have been hot dogging it.
Yeah.
Like with the barefoot water skis. That would have been, I would have liked that more because of how ridiculous
ramping off
all
of
of this
people's
has become.
Faces. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, I'm up on one
leg.
leg.
He looks back there at one point and he's like, oh, he's still there. Then he looks back again and he's barefoot water skiing. He looks back again and he's part of a 6-person human pyramid on the water skis. Oh, no, he's got an army.
Hey, is that Frankie and Annette over there on the beach?
But yeah, they like play chicken and then he just like hops into the other boat somehow from the one boat with a collision maybe. And he's like, I'm okay and I'm here.
And then they just jump off because the boat is about to smash into the fucking bar.
And the beach here is a good, 40, 50 feet of beach.
Yeah.
That just makes it about 10 feet onto the beach.
Yeah. Yep. No, it
doesn't have the speed. Fast for a boat is like 40.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't gonna make it.
No. But he gets flung off into fucking space. It's a little funny. And then Dalton, he gets on the into the bar and he finds Brant, and then he's gonna like kill him or something. I don't know. But Knox then shows up out of nowhere and drives a truck into him. He stole a truck on this bridge and drives a truck into him. And Dalton's like, you drove a truck into me, but I'm tougher than trucks. And they fight. And they fight on. And they fight and fight and fight and fight. Back and
then
forth.
It finally ends with some vampirism where he stabs him with a stake a couple of times in the appropriate spots for giant men.
That would be actually Van Helsing-isms, not vampirisms.
You know, the only thing he was missing was garlic.
Okay. So Knox is dead. Oh, but not before Knox snapped.
Knox is not dead.
Brant's neck.
Yeah, twig neck. It's a Key and Peele neck snap.
It is. It totally is. Hey, why don't you shut up? Oh, he's dead. And then he goes, he's already stabbed Dalton in the tummy, and he's like, I'm going to stab you with this fucking piece of a chair or whatever the fuck I got my hands on. And then Dalton's like, no, I'm going to stab you with that piece of that chair and the knife you put in me earlier that's in the same wound that was at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
I think is what it's being implied that I'm okay. You didn't know that's my secret. I'm okay getting stab spot, you fool.
Yeah, you just put a knife in my skin pocket for me to use on you.
I usually put my gum in there, but instead, I've got a knife this time. So then he stabs him like 8 times. And now
Which is dumb. For all the good fighting that happens in this, which deteriorates entirely into this scene.
Oh, it's not
like
good.
It's starting to deteriorate in the big fight in the bar about halfway through, which doesn't. They start doing some like CGI shit and some weird double camera tracking shit that doesn't work really that great.
Post-processing.
And by the last thing, there's a bunch of point of view that just looks like drunken nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Like POV camera, and then the actual
smack my bitch up, take my
however
picture.
Good the choreography was on set, the finished product has deteriorated into garbled nonsense, and it climaxes with him like being the stabberoonie guy.
Is there any like
and enter Sandman?
Okay,
Enter Sandman.
Enter Sandman.
Covered shittily.
Covered shittily. Did Doug Liman direct "Smack My Bitch Up" the video? I thought he did. I thought that's where Doug Liman came from, and that's where he got the Go job from.
Business.
But yeah, it's totally "Smack My Bitch Up." There's so much "Smack My Bitch Up" in if for those that are not old men like us, at one point in time there was a band called The Prodigy, and they filmed a great fucking music video for a song that had a questionable title. Not questionable, it was not great, called "Smack My Bitch Up," where they just did a Steadicam and through this person getting drunk and fighting and just being a huge piece of shit in the streets of wherever, and then they look in the mirror and it's a lady. Whoa, didn't see that coming. And ladies can be pieces of shit too. Gotcha.
This has been a public service announcement from Stinker Madness.
Brought to you by Manchester United. Even the ladies suck. Okay. So where the hell are? Oh yeah. So I didn't like it. Ellie and Dad walk in, and the dad's like, "Hey, you got to get out of here. Don't worry, I'll cover it up." And Dalton's like, "Okay, I'm good. Bye."
How are you going to cover all this up? And he says, the story starts with 2 words, Florida man. He's like, oh yeah, that checks out.
Okay, all right. See you later. And he leaves, but not before giving the bookstore all of the money that he did not send out into the Atlantic Ocean.
Which the bookstore guy is like, I can't hide this much money. What the fuck am I going to do with this? I go to jail. I needed $20K to rebuild the bookstore. I mean, there's a shot after it burns down of him standing. Actually, I think it's where he's opening up the money. There's 2 walls of books that are still just fine. Yeah.
$20K, Dalton. I don't need $6 million.
No, and when he tries to run him down, it's general panic and fear, not, hey, thanks. It's like, I can't. No, you've marked my life, you dick face. I had insurance on this, you fucking asshole.
Right, you fucking asshole. Oh, my God. Thanks. Okay. Well, we know that they're dead. The bookstore people, daughter, thanks, Dalton, are dead. But now my question is, so now what? Problems are not over. Right? The dad.
The bar's reopening the same night.
Well, yeah, but
all this happens, right?
The dad's still going to try to be the cocaine running guy.
The dad has to have some motivation as far as the Roadhouse, because he hires Knox to fucking clean up his son's mistakes. It's not just, hey, Knox, go over there, grab my son, pull his pants down, and give him a good old whipping. It's clean this mess up of his mistakes because I need this job done that he's not handling appropriately, right?
Yeah, but because Knox killed his only son and heir, I mean, he can't do shit now.
I think Dad can
direct anything. He can't buy property.
If he can get a guy in Italy to just show up and fuck up a whole town, he can make about anything happen from that prison cell. Yeah. The loss of his kid that he thinks is an idiot isn't going to slow him down very much.
I think Dad is involved way more than my kid's dumb, so fuck. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Knox, I don't like the character. I think he's dumb. But seems to be like you have to pay a fair amount to get Knox. Like, Knox is not cheap. And so Dad has a very deep investment into this project to even call Knox in. He cares. He's from jail, not just, so the bar is done. The bar is going to get burnt down and everybody's going to die. Like, now I'm not just calling in somebody to take out the bouncer. I'm calling in a fucking airstrike.
Yeah.
Great job, Dalton.
Nothing is resolved.
You solved everything.
To go further, is there a character that has any potential in normal storytelling in this movie? They're all mostly cardboard cutouts, other than Dalton, whose motivations are unclear, other than that he's the Antichrist. In terms of his anger,
I get mad sometimes.
But there is one.
Post Malone's character could spin off.
Is a lamp. He's a lamp that punches people.
He's a lamp, Jackie.
They're props. None of these characters are people. But if one was to scratch below the surface, Brant's character could have been good, because he's trying to legitimately build a hotel with the drug money and get away from the drugs, and he's made a Shakespearean error in accepting his father's help at a certain point, and he's stuck down that road. He's actually probably a good character, but the movie's like, we'll just make him a tool, and we can no longer identify with him.
Right. And at the end of the movie, the bookstore owner girl, she comes out and says, well, maybe you're not the hero of the movie, Dalton, or the book. And Dalton's like, yeah, I'm probably not. The movie even says that maybe Dalton's not that great of a guy. That would have been really good writing, Sam. And they just said, let's make it about punching people.
Punching people.
You can have both. You can have a good plot and punch people. It's possible. You just were like, okay. Speaking of plot, is this the idiot plot? But
the problem with the idiot plot, like, only idiots would do a thing to get to a certain point. I don't even know that this got to a certain point, because we just said that there's no resolution to a conflict
there is no resolution,
clearly unable to identify, because we couldn't even really pin on it. Like, I am just saying, with the Brant character, that could have been a thing that they could have done. I cannot, from watching this movie, tell whether or not drugs are still involved. So, like, motivations are unclear. It doesn't even qualify, because I can't even tell if anything actually happened.
It's the idiot subplot or sub-idiot plot.
It's like the idiot treatment that never got written into a script.
Yeah. I mean,
which is one sentence. Let's remake Roadhouse.
This script sucks. I'm just going to call it like it is.
It does.
It's not because of the one-liners. The one-liners are fine. They're very Roadhouse appropriate. They're not schwazy one-liners. They're mostly just Jake Gyllenhaal being charming, which is one of his strengths. I think he's a very charming individual. But the actual, like, whole thing is dumb AF. When you make Roadhouse look pretty smart, you got a dumb script. You got a real dumb script. Damn.
Yeah. Well, that leads me to another question. The big one. Is this better than the first one?
100% no.
No.
Not even close.
Nope. Not even close.
No.
And I think the first one sucks. I've just watched it like 10 or 15 times because it's okay to like a movie that's dumb.
You don't think it sucks. It's dumb, but you don't think it sucks.
It kind of sucks.
Does it?
No,
so
it doesn't.
Dumb.
It's so
okay,
awesome.
Whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't suck.
Especially when Sam Elliott shows up with pubic hair.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Would it have been better if Sam Elliott was in it?
Piles of questions here.
Jackie, you've loved it if Sam Elliott's ass was in it instead of Conor McGregor's. Today's
Sam she's on Team McGregor's butt.
Yeah, he's a very handsome man, and there was nothing wrong with looking at that specimen of a human being. I mean, I was just like, holy shit, this movie has redeemed itself. And then I thought, okay, any minute now, Sam Elliott's going to have to come in and help this young pup.
What's the guy that plays
Because it's his
Claw?
dad.
What's the guy that plays Claw in the Marvel franchise? You remember him? Black Panther. He's a famous actor. Good actor. Damn it. You know, bad guy in Black Panther. He's got the power. You know who Claw is in the Marvel universe, right, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ulysses Klaue?
Claw. It's Claw.
Claw.
God, what the hell? He looks like, anyways, Conor McGregor kind of seems similar to him. But the thing I don't really like about Conor McGregor is as an action guy, I think he did actually a good job in this movie. I just think he's got a little bit of a Mike Tyson-y voice. Anybody with me? He's just a little... Hey, he doesn't have a tough guy voice. Oh, I'm Conor McGregor. Oh, I'm going to fight you now.
It's a little
Is it just me? Is it just me?
No, I didn't notice it at all. I was like, whatever. I just thought he was doing a really good job at what they were asking him to do, which was really stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, be a crazy asshole.
Yeah, just be super crazy. But also have kind of a little bit of a lady's voice. I'm not saying people's voices should prevent them from having wonderful lives. I'm just saying that he's got a bit of a...
Maybe he was blessed with such good looks and charm and God was like, look, I'm not going to give you a voice for TV or radio. Yeah. It's just not fair.
Look, do I want to say, hey, Mike Tyson, you got a dumb voice? No, my face will come off. Hey, Conor McGregor, you got a dumb voice. I thought
his voice was fine.
My brains get punched out. They're incredible athletes and the toughest dudes that have ever lived. I just think it's interesting that, I don't know. Okay. Maybe it's just me.
It's just you.
And I'm probably going to die. Conor McGregor's going to come kill me.
Come punch you into next Thursday.
So hard my leg comes off.
Yep.
Dang it. I needed that. All right. Sam, more questions.
The owner of the bartender who's hiding the secret that she's trying to be pushed out by this guy to build a hotel. Isn't that a completely defensible position that you would tell the guy?
Yeah, right from the start. Like, this is why I'm seeking help.
Okay. I figured that would be a quick one to answer. So here's my last big question.
Unless she's so bad at just like looking up bouncers that she's like, I assumed you were related to the guy that's trying to kick me out, so I didn't want you to know about all this. That's the only motivation she would have. Like, oh, I thought you were in on it, so you couldn't know. No, you dumb shit.
You don't know that I know that you don't know what I do know that you don't know that I don't know.
It's a hectagonal double cross.
Yeah. Would this have been better had Ronda Rousey not lost to Holly Holm?
100% fully. Absolutely. I think so.
I think you're both right. I think that she's like, it probably wouldn't have been as polished a thing as this is a polished thing. You would have liked it more, but I think it would have been probably a Stinker Madness Hall of Fame contender.
Good.
Yes. Which is too bad that didn't happen.
This is a completely forgettable movie.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll do a sister of the Roadhouse. And it's Dalton's sister, Sue Dalton. Mm-hmm. And they just happen to meet up at the same bar because like he can't handle it. Like he goes to it to help a bar and he can't handle it, so he's like, look, I gotta call in some help. And then he goes down and she's kicking some guy's ass in the middle of Tuesday night, and he's like, look, I need you to come back to Georgia with me and rip some throats out because I'm losing my shit. And then she's like, dude, I told you I can't help you, it's just too dangerous with both of us there. And he's like, it's the only way. And then she roundhouse kicks some guy in the face and says, okay, where's your car?
And then eventually he looks at her and says, "You're not my sister." And she goes, "You're right. I'm not your sister. I'm a street fighter." Sister Street Fighter coming to theaters near you. Wait, we already have that.
We already have it, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really depends on how it would have been handled. And yeah, the potential there is
it could have just been milquetoast that everyone hated too, right?
Yeah, which I mean is something, but this is just like it's not it. It's just not it for me. So I would have preferred basically anything else other than that fantastic fucking slap fight sequence.
Yeah.
Jackie, any more questions?
No.
Sam, any more questions?
Nope.
Okay, I don't know why I can't get my voice out of movie trailer guy voice.
Coming in at number 3.
Hey, it's me, Casey.
Ricky Martin. Sans Mendoza.
Because you made fun of McGregor, and now you're like, I have to sound masculine.
Dude, this is a totally rad voice, Jackie. What the hell are you talking about?
This is my radio voice.
Yeah. Okay. Final recommendations. I'll go
I get to
first.
start.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, because I did the first intro.
Fair enough.
I'm going to give it a do.
Wow.
I was entertained. In a lot of ways, I was disappointed that they didn't do like the fan things, like the throat rip, have a
Pay no
have
dirt.
like a Sam Elliott
Monster truck.
Drop in, and they didn't do like
Jeff Healey.
the like a Roadhouse song. Like, in the first one they had
The music
It's
sucks.
the Roadhouse.
The music sucks in this movie. Like that, we never mentioned it, but the fucking score is bad.
Oh yeah.
And the first
But-
one does aid in the mythos of the Jeff Healey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, the thing is that at first, when I finished watching it, all of those things really bothered me. But then the more I thought about it and the more that we talked about it, I was like, in a lot of ways, I'm okay that they didn't steal one-liners and they didn't steal the throat rip and they didn't, use the original song, because they were trying to say, this is not a Patrick Swayze Roadhouse. This is a new Jake Gyllenhaal Roadhouse type of story. And I guess I'm okay with that. I still liked it.
Okay. I think not having a nostalgia thing like, oh, well, it's not the Roadhouse, so therefore it sucks. I think that's a good argument, Jackie. I think like people obviously rely way too much on nostalgia and you've ruined my childhood. No, it's just a fucking different thing. It's just a fucking different thing. But the problem is it a good fucking different thing? And no, this is not. It is a disappointment because it's lazy. It is just shitting out a fucking unpolished script that has nothing. I mean, it's a missed opportunity, as Sam brought up. It's a missed opportunity as far as like, wait a minute, that was fun and also like didn't make me go, wow, that was fucking stupid. And that like variance is tough to for me to juggle because Roadhouse is stupid, but it doesn't need to be. And this tries to set up a caper, but doesn't manage to actually do it. And it's just too stupid to not give it a do. Ha ha ha! I got you, Sam. That's how you set up a double cross.
It's dumb.
It's dumb, and I liked it, and
it's fine.
I wish it was better or dumber. It's fine. Everybody that we're gonna shout out to say do or do not is gonna watch this anyways. So yeah,
I mean,
do it.
Really, we could have done with some more full frontal nudity from McGregor.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, I was completely satisfied.
I would have preferred full frontal nudity from that gentleman whose name we can't pronounce. I'm telling you. Muy caliente. Okay, Sam, go.
I think that the consensus among the more respected critics at this point is like, oh, it's mostly dumb fun. It's fine,
Yeah,
which it is. I would change that sentence though, that it's dumb, mostly fun, because where we talked about it missing things, we're talking about it being like a high, like 8 on our scale of shitty movies. Like if it maintains that electricity in that first fight sequence and it does some other things, you're just like, holy shit, I'm going to watch this 3 or 4 times. Mm-hmm. That's what this one doesn't have that the other one has.
Right.
I have no desire to watch this again, even though I'm totally fine watching it. I think you should, if you want to watch a Roadhouse remake, yeah, fucking do it. I couldn't tell you not to watch this. There's nothing, it's dumb fun mostly. But it doesn't have that repeat viewing ability. And the things I mentioned Southpaw earlier and said I'd circle back to that. And so I'll do it kind of quick because we're a little long this episode. But if you want to watch Jake Gyllenhaal fight and have redemption in a movie, Southpaw has both of those things, and it's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Agreed.
Where's that streaming? Do you know?
I don't know. It came out about 10 years ago.
Has it?
It's probably on like Freevee or something then.
Or just look it up. Sam is
I
not
don't know.
Google.
I'm just too fucking lazy to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's your show, guys. Next week on the podcast is Jackie's choice. She'll be covering Jake Gyllenhaal in Southpaw and being wrong.
No,
about
it's
it
way
being
too
on the
good
show.
for this show.
I'm teasing. What do you got?
Well, I wanted to do that new Crow that's coming out, but that doesn't come out until like June.
Crow? The Crow?
The Crow.
they're doing it
a
again.
reboot of The Crow.
And it's the guy that directed Rupert Sanders, the guy that directed the Ghost in the Shell live action that was so wonderful, and the Snow White and the Huntsman with Hemsworth.
Yeah, so I was going to pick that, but then I just looked it up, and it doesn't come out until June, and so I will.
So we're waiting on bated breath.
Yeah, to watch The Crow, and they even
I really
call it
like
in the
that
description, the
too. It's
reboot.
unfortunate.
So I don't have one picked out because that's the one I wanted to do.
Fair enough.
But it doesn't come out till later.
We'll see what happens this week and let you know when it's time. Guys, have a great week and get to the chopper.